All right. Hello, everyone. This video is going to hopefully not be terribly long. Basically, I'm just going to introduce this platform that you can see on the screen right now. And of course, as soon as I start recording, a helicopter decides to fly around. Hopefully that won't happen again. But I've got this set up right here. This is noteflight.com. Um, I do want to preface this because this is a YouTube video. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. This is a platform I use for my sound design course that I teach. Whenever we have to notate music, we start off handwriting a few assignments, but then we transition to this. Partly because it's a lot easier for me to read. It's easy to get a quick feedback as to what you are writing. Whether it sounds good or not. To your ears, you can play it back. But most importantly, the basic version is free, which is important, and you can access it on any computer. You just need internet access. That way, I don't have to worry about installing a bunch of software on a bunch of computers, and that becomes a whole mess and an ordeal. And I also don't have to. Let me just get my cursor highlight going. I also don't have to tell students to pay for stuff. I do have some other software that I normally use. I right now use Sibelius as one. I'm kind of hovering over that at the bottom right now, so you can check that out. There's other ones too. I'm gonna be trying out Dorico is another one. There's also Finale. Those are all paid options, and they can be surprisingly expensive. Another free option that is an app you can download. I'll go ahead and put that in the description when I'm done talking. But that would be MuseScore. That's a free notation thing, but it's an app you install on your computer. It's not something you run in the browser. So there's that. All right, so going to noteflight.com takes you right here. You do have to sign up and have an account. I'll get into that in just a second, but there's a few things. If we scroll through here, we'll start going through all of this. So you can create music scores, music that people can listen to, play, do all the things. There's all that. You can potentially sell some. I'm not going to get into all that, but there are ways you can sell things and all of that. There are upgrades and things like that that cost money. Actually, I don't know how much they cost. So a yearly thing at $50 a month or $300 for a one-time purchase. I am not going to recommend this for several reasons. One, I think that as I'm teaching this for a class, I'm not going to, make any student pay money for a thing. Also, I think that there are better options and like things that look slightly nicer or easier to use, sound a whole bunch of things that are better if you buy some of the other apps. I like it more for my things, so that's what I'm going to recommend there. But if this is something that interests you, I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm just not going to say you have to do it for the classes I teach. So there's that, and you can, members and communities, there's a demo here. I'm not going to play through it right now, but you can check that out if you want. All right. So the main thing, I'm going to just go back up to the top. Oh, the video is playing now. Is right here. We can sign up. Basically, if you sign up, you can sign in with Google, or if you have another email address, however you want to do it. My students all have an account through Google for Google Classroom, so I'm going to recommend that my students just hit the sign up with Google. But if you want to use another one, I don't care as long as you can turn in the assignments. I'm going to go to sign in. I think I did mine with Google. We gonna find out. Well, maybe not. Sign in. If not, I'm gonna just do this. Create an account. Yeah, okay, I agree. Doodaloo. All right. I'm just gonna do that. Let's see. I'm a teacher. My primary instrument. I don't know, that you can fill out all this stuff. I played clarinet. Boom. There we go. Get started. Username. That's probably my old username. Um, oh yeah, that's my username. All right. Once you've logged in, it brings you to this page. There's a bunch of stuff. It's the home page. It's gonna, you know, tell you about that. It's gonna ask you for money. You don't have to ever do that. But you can check out the subscription. Making scores, how to navigate all the stuff, sharing, publishing, all of that. You can get into. You can do things with your profile, change the language, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that right now, but that's something you can do if that suits your needs. You can see all of your scores that you make on the tab. If you have any that you've bought, so these can be available digitally, and you can buy them right from here and have it there, and you can see all the other stuff. You can manage it right there. There's where you can buy stuff, the other community, my scores. What's going to be important for my students is the create tab. Does it say real quick? It doesn't say how many scores you can make at the moment. So if we ever run out, I will find things to delete. But I'm going to recommend almost always starting from a blank score sheet. If you have these other files, you can do that, but and import them, and it'll try to convert them into sheet music. But I have never had a good experience with any of these. There's not that it's just flat out bad. It's a math algorithm, and it doesn't do things intuitively for a music performance. So I always just do it manually. But once you make a new score, you get this. This is the default starting page. So just to kind of walk you through everything, that's my goal for this. First thing, whenever my students, I'm going to recommend, give it a title. So this is the one for the video that I'm making right now. You give it a title, and it will automatically be saved as this title in your sketches. Under Composer, that's where you put your name. So boom, do that. If someone wrote the lyrics, you can put that there. If there's a subtitle, so on and so forth. And then you can save it. If I go back to the home page, I guess I can go to My Scores. You can see under My Scores, there's the videos, all that's right there. You can click on it, open it up. As long as you've saved the work, you're good to go. It will just be there online, ready to go. So there's a few things. I'm actually going to work from the bottom up. Okay. So there's a few things here. Each of these buttons do a different thing. So if we click here, we can expand this out and get a bunch more options. So you can, treble clef, bass clef. If I wanted to, you click on it and boom, you can make things a bass clef. If you click, I made that one a treble clef. So basically you select stuff, Control Z to undo, and so on and so forth. It's a lot of select and apply. So again, I can change the clefs, I can change the key signature, the time signature, do things with the measure numbers, all of that. So if I change the time signature, I could say, start by 4/4. Maybe I wanted to go to 5/8. Hit OK. And then by default, it'll do it for everything. Or you could select, a specific area and have it apply right there. But you can set the time signature however you want. By default, it's 4/4. This is very useful because it's physically impossible to put the wrong number of notes in a measure using this software. So let's say 5/8. That means there's 5/8 notes in a measure. I stick that in there. I can't fit a sixth one in there. It doesn't fit. If I didn't have one in there at all, then it would just be a rest. It's always going to have the right amount of time in your measure. That's very useful, I think. So again, you can adjust the time signature as needed, add or delete measures. You could add measures before or after your current one. So before, puts it before the measure I'm editing, after, does it after. I had this one selected now, but there you go. If you click this, there's more things. You can see more things. So maybe you wanted to adjust some of the playback sounds or some colors, the various lines and articulations. Basically, the most common stuff is up here, but the more specific things that you might need are on this little 3 lines, the menu right there. So that's a handy tool. So it's a lot of, again, select what you want and then set things up however you need. So if I click the measure, I can then hover over, that. So say I wanted to say C. By default, it's the 8th note. Maybe I wanted a quarter note. I could click my quarter note up here and change that. However that goes. You will hear the note play in that instrument as you input the sound, which can be very useful. But again, you can set your durations, and all of that right there. You can set some articulation. So maybe you wanted this to be a dotted rhythm. You stick that, it adds the dot to there, and it adjusts all the rest accordingly. Maybe I wanted to tie things. Boom, I add a tie that attaches them there. If I click this arrow, this expands this menu out, and we get more things. So you can have more rhythm options, more tie options, adjusting note durations and things like that. So maybe I wanted to, boom, that decreases it, that increase, you can just move it up and down just like that. It's very useful. And again, you can just condense that menu if you don't need it. I skipped this section intentionally. So pitch, again, that's flat, sharp, natural, transposing. So I can change this. So maybe I had this, I wanted to copy and paste it, but I wanted to transpose up a 5th. You can pick what kind of 5th, and boom, now it's shifted it up. In this case, it did a key signature. Maybe I didn't want that. Transpose, don't change key signature, 5. Boom. Now it's the same notes and intervals. I've just shifted everything up by a bit. Another useful tool. I can also move a note or notes up or down and do it like that, other than just clicking and dragging. Opening this up, you can adjust things by half steps instead of just by a line or space, by octaves. So you can adjust that. You get your more complex shiftings and things around like that, and all that kind of stuff. So you can adjust it there. You can adjust the tempo. Maybe you want it to be faster. And again, that'll apply for that, whatever you select. So you can change the tempo to be faster or slower. You can also tell, maybe I want people to speed up in this measure and slow down in that, for that one. You can adjust that. You can add other symbols for, holding things out, pausing, all this kind of stuff. It's all pretty level. You can set swings during playback. We don't need to get into that too much, but that's some things you can do. There's also a menu here for text. So if you ever wanted to enter text, lyrics, you could enter in lyrics into your music. You can also just do other texts. Maybe I wanted to say, expression text, forte, or it would be no, not that one. No. How do I make it bold? I don't always use this one, but you can put in important things here. So, okay, just automatically select. So you could say play it soft, or this is Control E, play it loud, and it'll set the formatting automatically. You can put in chord symbols and other important things right there, and other text stuff, move it around, all that. Anything with text is in the text menu. All right, so again, you've got each of these menus. Each of them you can expand to have more options, and you can show additional menus right here. So that's right there. The score menu does some more things. Let me just expand that. So you can create parts. So generally, when all of your parts are on one page, that's the score. You can add more parts. Let's just say trumpet. Okay, boom. Now there's a trumpet in here. Um, yeah, I could change the order. So now my trumpet's on top. And I could do that. I could show things. I could hide them however we need, and adjust it like that. What do we have here? Show in concert pitch. I'm not going to talk about transposing instruments, but that's a thing we can work with. We can adjust any formatting, page setup, printing, save. I'm going to save. Export. This is how I'm going to have everyone turn stuff in, but you hit export and you can change these options. So PDF, that's, full score PDF is what I'm going to have all my students turn in. And occasionally MP3 audio. I'll talk about that in a second, but if I made a full score PDF, you save it, it downloads, there it is, my wonderful piece of music. But you can do that, attach it to all the various things. You can play all the other stuff as we go. So there is that. Up top, we get a few more options. Play. You can play through the score. That's my beautiful music. But you can play it and hear it back in real time. So you can see how everything syncs up, plays the notes, plays the everything, and it's all right there. Transcribing and recording, we're not going to really get into in my class, but basically you can connect a keyboard and play notes, or you can record things and it'll try to do all that, but it's premium settings. We're not going to get into it. You can adjust page formatting that I'm not really going to get into, and adjust the view. So maybe instead of everything on the page, you want to see just a continuous stream. What's perform view? Stuff like that. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to put it back on page view because that's how I like to see it. And all that stuff. You can add a keyboard. So maybe it's easier to you could type it in like that using a keyboard instead. That could be very useful. Guide, that's just like a search thing. And this is, again, more information about your score and things like that. So again, maybe this is what I wanted. I could hit play. I'm going to go back to the beginning and press play. There we go. And so on. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty user friendly, not too bad to use. So again, this is something I'm gonna spend a day on with my students, just practicing it. Saying these are all the things you can do, and then whenever we have notation assignments, that's what we do. So that's basically it. I mentioned this is going to be a pretty short video. So as I said, this is not sponsored by noteflight in any way. So don't go thinking that it is. I'm not popular enough to get sponsorships. This is just a resource that I have my students use, and I'm making this video so that they can pull this up outside of class. And hopefully they'll find it useful, or maybe someone else will find it and find it useful. I don't know. But that's all of that. So that's basically everything. If I talk anymore, I'm going to start rambling. So I'm just going to end it here, and I